That's how it started since you've been here last. Not at all.
Convinced my kid to watch this live stream. So
Oh, really?
Get something
How old is your
17.
Oh, cool.
I think they get they get a good message about letting go and dealing with anxiety.
All that stuff.
You know, all the suffering in life. And how we can.
We'll just eliminate it.
Alleviate it just a bit.
We'll just eliminate all that suffering tonight permanently. You ready for that?
Can I get a piece of that?
I would like that. Yes.
Can we all get a piece
as
of
long
that?
as I can get a piece. It's been a tough couple of weeks, I'll tell you that. Lydia and I were just talking about that on the way over here. But hey, we just got to do our best. Some days it's good and you can really stay on top of it, really surf that wave and let it go as long as possible. And some days you're just like, you're portage, carrying the canoe, you're like, you can't do anything else. At least I don't think. If you can, I cannot figure out what it is. Yeah, so it's like that. Things. Welcome to you, and welcome to you online. I'm Joseph Wagner. We're here at Clear Light Yoga Studio to experience the clear light. It's the clear light that's behind our minds. Oh, is it the Paranirvana of Jigden Sumgun? I didn't know that. That's awesome. Trigong Master. Drop chat. Let's look at that. It is a very auspicious time. If you're not familiar with these terms that we're talking about here, there are a number of kind of more auspicious days of the month or more extraordinary days according to the Tibetan Buddhist calendar, and the two biggest ones are the 10th day of the lunar month and the 25th day. The 10th day, they call it Guru Rinpoche Day, the day of the precious Guru, and that is sort of when the masculine energies in the body are dominant. And then the 25th day is when the feminine energies are dominant. They call that the Dakini Day. Dakini is Sanskrit word, Khandro in Tibetan. It literally means like one who travels in the sky, but the energy of it is divine, the divine feminine. And so today is the day of the divine feminine, and we happen to have a divine feminine person here. So, Dan, just kidding around. So anyway, love to all the mothers out there. We're very, very fortunate. So if you have joined us before, then you know the drill. If you haven't, then welcome. We meet every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Mountain Time to 7:15. And we're usually here. So you are welcome. Just to get started, just be here in your body. Take a deep breath if you like, relax your shoulders, try to touch your shoulders to your ears for a second, whatever normal thing you do, just settle into whatever seat you find yourself in. You might be sitting on the couch, you might be sitting on the floor. The main thing is to have your back be straight. It doesn't mean ramrod straight like you're in the army, but just like a pile of gold coins. You say the spine should be like a pile of gold coins. If you were piling up some coins and you pile them over this way, then they would fall, right? If you want them to stack up, they have to be more or less in line. Same thing here. You can think of it as being hanging from a single hair on top of your head, something like that. And just be right here in your body. Letting go of all the stuff that brought you here, not engaging with what you have to do later, and just in this moment, just trying to be chill and relaxed. Recognize that there's a certain comfort, ease, you could almost say bliss in that allowing, that just letting go, just releasing. Recognize that and just allow it to percolate up through your system. And then allow the thought, the notion, the feeling that you're lucky to be here. We're fortunate to have bodies that are operational, internet that works, or be ambulatory enough to get here, to have the ability to speak English so there's something to hear, to have a camera that you can see, all this kind of stuff. It's not so easy, right? To have the leisure to practice meditation. All those things come together. It's not so common. There are a lot of people who can't be here, right? So allow that feeling of good fortune, of auspiciousness to percolate through your system. Let that grow in strength just a little. Be like, wow, I really am lucky. And then right in the middle of that, give rise to this thought. I am going to practice meditation, which really means practice being at peace, not just for myself, but for all beings. The sentient beings of our world are infinite, practically infinite, right? If you just think there's so many people, there are like 8 billion people, something like that. Probably if you think about who isn't counted, rural people, didn't make it to the census, whatever, maybe 9 billion, who knows? A billion is 1,000 piles, and each pile contains 1 million items. That's 1 billion. It's kind of, it's hard to grasp. If you like it a different way, you can say it's 1,000,000 piles. Each one has 1,000 items. I don't even know 1,000 people, much less 1,000 million people. There are a lot of, those are just humans. There's also animals, there are insects, fish, there's untold numbers of non-humans around according to all the spiritual traditions. Whoa. So again, thinking, wow, there's so many, and they're so ill at ease at this moment, and yet we get to be at ease. Give rise to this thought, I am going to practice being deeply relaxed, deeply at peace, in a purposeful way for all those beings out there. This is the heart of any authentic spiritual path, not just for me, but for everyone. This is the heart of it. And since we're doing a spiritual path right now, we want to have this be our primary focus. Called bodhicitta in Sanskrit. Bodhi means enlightenment, citta means heart. The heart of enlightenment is thinking not just for me, but for all beings. There are 3 phases to meditation, as you guys all know. Most of you online probably know too. There's the correct orientation, the main part, and then the dedication. The correct orientation is just these 2 things. I am very fortunate, and I will train in being the best I can be for everybody. And then it's letting go of that. Any prayer or aspiration or good wishes that we give rise to, we have to then let go of those so they can float off into the ether. Kind of like if you have a message, you write it on a piece of paper, you put it in a bottle, you're down in the Caribbean, and you want to send it off so someone can find it, but you never throw it in the water. You just keep it with you. No one's going to find that bottle. Speaking of which, I had a friend in high school. He was a teacher, biology teacher. I was just a student. He told me that he did that exact thing. He was on a sailboat in Bahamas, and he wrote a note and said, here's my number, call me if you get this. And he threw it in the water, and someone in Japan wrote him and said, I got your letter. Kind of cool, I think. So maybe in the same way, when we make these wishes, may everyone be at peace, and we let go of that, it's like tossing that bottle in the water. It might actually lead somewhere. We're going to practice being here, letting go of expectations, letting go of our past that brought us here, letting go of our hopes and fears about the future, being 100% present without any kind of holding. We can do it for everybody. Pretty cool. To do that, because we're in a group, both an online group and a group here, we want to catch that vibe. That's part of the wordless way. And we also want to try to apply what's being said. So we can do both those. Today is the Dakini Day, the 25th day of the lunar month. And I'm part of another group, and we just did a little online get-together. There were 11 or 12 people, and we made what's called a feast offering, a tsuk. And I went into that. When I turned on the computer to start that, I was in such a crappy mood. I was like, there's so much trouble going on. And it really troubled my heart. My heart was feeling heavy. And I started that, and 20 minutes later when we finished, I was feeling so much lighter. I couldn't believe it. So maybe we'll have that same experience here tonight. Whatever you brought here, recognize that's not the real you. It's maybe the impetus, the wind at your back that got you here, but it isn't you. It's external to you in a sense. You are immune from those kinds of things. You are pure. Meditation is about tuning into that aspect of ourselves that's already complete, already whole, already pure. Many people think meditation is about cleaning up our act, right? Our mental act, our spiritual act, something. But there's part of us that's already clean. We just have to acknowledge it. We have to become familiar with that part. There's a fun story from the Zen tradition. The Zen tradition in China, they get all the good stories, or most of them. There was a guy, he was on a meditation retreat, right? Really hardcore. He was living in this tiny grass hut, southern China, living on practically nothing. And this monk came along and just said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, I'm practicing meditation. He said, "Why?" He said, "So I can become a Buddha." He said, And the guy went back in his hut and he started meditating. He heard the sound, and the sound was like, you know the song? You know the story? And Ricky knows all the stories. Anyway, he hears the sound. He's just like tries to tune it out. He's trying to meditate after a while. What the hell? He leans out there, and the guy is there. The monk is sitting on the ground, and he's got this piece of slate, and he's got the stone. You know the stone? And he's rubbing the stone on the slate. And it's making this terrible, like, screechy kind of noise. And the guy's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm making a mirror." He's like, "Making a mirror out of a piece of slate? You can't do that." He goes, "How do you think you can make a Buddha out of a sentient being?" The guy had a little bit of awakening. They call it a koan. Koan in Japanese. Koan is like a public case, a case of enlightenment suddenly happening. If we had to clean up our act, wouldn't it take forever? We've got infinite lifetimes and so many bad acts, even in this lifetime. We've got so many negative thoughts and so many horrible patterns, and it'll take forever. You meet people who are in therapy forever, right? They're like, "I'm going to make a mirror out of this thing. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how much it costs." Tears rolling down their faces. Fortunately for us, it's not original sin, it's original purity. There's an aspect of us that's already pure. We just have to be shown, in most cases, how to recognize that, how to acknowledge it in our present experience, how to learn to trust in it. Because from that perspective, all those things we think we accumulated, they're just like a backpack that we got used to wearing, right? We went to REI to buy a new backpack. I don't know if they still do this, but it used to be the case. You're going to go on a backpacking trip, you go to REI. Now you have to bring like $2,000. You used to only have to bring like $175. But now you got to bring like $7,400. Anyway, you go there, and then you're like, okay, I'm going on this trip. They're like, how many days? Determine the amount of liters of space you need, and then what do? They take these bags they're filled with sand, and they put them in this backpack, and they have you try it on. They adjust it to see like what it's going to fit your torso. Like, I'm pretty short. Kevin's pretty tall. I'm not going to be able to wear the same exact backpack. This kind of stuff, right? And if it's as if we got convinced somehow that this backpack filled with all of our bad actions and our negative thoughts and our mistakes that we made or mistakes, we have to now wear it forever. And we did it so much that it just felt like it was us, when it really isn't. And meditation's about taking that backpack off, putting it down, and feeling light, feeling free. Acknowledging that there's part of us that was never wearing that backpack. A miracle, kind of. A miracle. If you already know how to put that backpack down, whether you're here or you're online, put it down now. Put it down. Let go. Let be. Put your hands like this. Thumbs at the base of your ring finger. Close your hands, not too tight. Put your hands with your arms straight on your knees. We're going to clear out the stale breath. Just do what I do if you haven't seen this before. Right arm goes out to the side. Block off your right nostril. Breathe in. Hold your breath, put your hand down. Left arm goes out. Block off the left. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold your breath, hand goes down. Right arm goes back out. Block off the right. Out. Keep your breath out, put your hands down. Breathe in. Breathe out and extend your fingers. When you breathe out, extending your fingers like this, but your hands are down here, it's like taking off a whole bunch of wet leather clothes. It's like you were on the Pequod. I think he's got another Pequod, right? Pequod's a boat in Moby Dick. You're on the Pequod, right? And you've got the duty, because wasn't one of your ancestors on
the Toby Coffin?
Toby Coffin. See, Ricky's been involved in everything. He knows all the Zen stories. He was on the his ancestors were on the Pequod.
Well, he was the one that they ate.
Anyway, you're like on one of those ships, and it's really you're out. You have to do your shift or whatever they call it on deck. And it's like cold and windy, whatever. You wear these heavy leather clothes that get permeated by the water, and you just feel like boom. When you breathe out, it's like you took all those clothes off. You're naked. You don't even have thoughts for a moment. Totally free. But the you is the same you. That part doesn't go away. That part that went to the library that one time, that part that was in kindergarten, that part that fell in love, whatever, that part is still totally here. Just all your baggage is gone temporarily. It's like a direct introduction to meditation. Meditation, letting go, letting be. Let's do it one more time. And when we do it, don't move. Try not to move. Just breathe out and just let be. See how it is. Ready? Right arm in. Left arm out. In. Out. In. Out. Good. Everybody here, they know how to meditate. I hope you're digging it online too. You can feel it's a sense of openness, a sense of lightness. Sometimes it's hard to believe, it's hard to trust. We've got so much stuff heavy hearting us, right? It feels like these hooks sometimes, these big hooks, fishing hooks, for like, I don't know what they would fish with, porpoises or something, in your heart and dragging you down. It's like, it's very painful in life. But even that feeling, if you look closely at it, it's over there somewhere. It's not over here. I'll explain what I mean. Meditation is about making a distinction about what you really are and what you thought you were, and then cleaving to or hanging on to that which you really are, and letting go to some degree of that which you're really not. When you do that, you'll notice that a lot of the other stuff you thought was really you, like anxiety and fear and hope and expectations, they also are not you. And just noticing that those are not you, you feel tremendously free, much lighter, almost like you're walking on air. And real meditation is training in that state of being completely free. Now, here's a question for you. When are we going to do that? Are we going to do that yesterday? Can we possibly do it tomorrow? No, we have to do it now. So it's said in our tradition that once you know about this, even a little bit, even just have a slight sense of it, the tiniest bit of the fragrance of it, every moment becomes like a crossroads. In the previous time, when you didn't know, you didn't have the crossroads. You just kept doing what you always did. Just try to arrange the situation, try to get rid of those feelings, try to drink it away or whatever. Dealing with it however, go to the gym, whatever. Go running. I love running. That's like a nice way to get some endorphins going. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. We didn't have a choice. Once you know about this, then you have a choice. It's like a T-junction in the road. You can do what you always do, or you can not do that. Not doing that is like, but we can only do it right now. So the first part is to come to this moment, this very moment. When is this moment? It's right after the past just ended. Right? The past is always going away every second. Like these clicks, they're all in the past, right? As soon as you hear it, it's already gone. So you have to somehow come to this moment, not analyzing or reviewing or getting caught up with the past. That's the first part. Do that right now. Just come, kind of like hit the accelerator just a little bit so you come right up to this moment. And then don't fall into normally what we do, into the future. They say the past is just coulda, woulda, and shoulda. And the future is just hope and fear. You hope things will go your way, but you fear they won't. These are just thoughts, right? Projections. So we have to somehow find this balance point, this moment. And then when we find that, meaning we recognize, oh, the past is gone, the past thought is gone, the future thought has not yet arisen, just like my hand on the screen has not yet shown, it's about to, but not quite. And in this moment, instead of trying to hold on to the present, like focusing on it, some people think that when Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now, you're supposed to lean on the now, right? No, it's not like that. Instead of that, once you catch this, it's very subtle, but it's always around, then you have to totally let go. You got to put this backpack of holding this moment down. And when you put something down, you've been carrying in, like all the groceries. You're coming in from the car and it's like slippery outside. You're paying attention. You got to somehow get the door open. When you put it down, what do you say? Ah, right? It's the same in Tibetan. Tibetan, the word for this is ah. And when you do that, don't do anything. Don't try to split off some of your part of yourself and try to check, am I doing it right? You have to have courage. You got to be one-pointed. Since we're talking Moby Dick, I don't know if you're familiar with Moby Dick. You guys read Moby Dick? Moby Dick? It's all about harpooning, right? Or harpooning these whales. It kind of sounds horrible these days, but it's a beautiful book, amazing book. Queequeg. You guys know Queequeg? You got your, Moby Dick, I can tell. Queequeg's this cannibal islander, is what they call him. He's a friend of Ishmael, the main character, right? The narrator. Queequeg's the best of the harpooners, right? Now, in order for Queequeg to do his job, he's got to get in the front of the boat, and he's got the harpoon, and he's ready, right? He's like that. We've got to be like that, just like Queequeg. Got to come right to this moment. We've got to aim the harpoon of our attention, and then what does Queequeg do? He lets go of the harpoon. He throws it. In our case, we let go of all of our expectations, all of our holding. It takes tremendous courage to do. And we know the sound of it, which is ah. And in that moment, if you do it right, not too hard, not too softly, all in, not kind of checking yourself, but all in, just like when you hit a super good drive on the golf course with a golf club, right, on the golf course. You're all in, right? You're not like, I hope I'm doing it right, and I like that, right? Or else you won't do it well. Dance golfer, right? And you're all in, and you totally let go. What actually happens? The 3 times, past, present, and future, they cease to control you. The past is truly gone. The future has not arisen. And this moment is also somehow gone, and you're free. They call that the 4th time. And this, my friends, is the door out of suffering. It's the only one. Every other door is like trying to control circumstances, right? I want the deal to go through so I can have lots of money. I want the car to start, but it's not starting. I want to get that job. I want to have this relationship work, whatever. When you do, just like Queequeg, get right in the very tip of the boat, the very, what do you call that, bow of the boat, is that right? Get in the bow of the boat with your lance, not your lance, that's for stabbing, your harpoon, and you let it go, then there's this total freedom this instant. Doesn't last forever, but it does last a little bit. It has a natural stability. If you're a meditator, that natural stability from this perspective is called shamatha, one-pointed focus. It's different than the one-pointed focus they teach in Thailand or Burma if you go and practice shamatha meditation in that way. This is the more advanced kind, so to speak. No dissing them. But it has a certain stability, it lasts a certain amount of time, depending on how good you are at it, right? How much practice you have. How into it you are, how completely one-pointed you are. I can't tell about the people online because it's harder, But here, people are digging it. This very instant, you're totally free. I tell you a story, true story about me. When I was in college, what year was it? It must have been like my sophomore year. I was taking a sociology class, which was one of those classes in a great big hall with tons of people, where you just are supposed to listen and you write stuff down and you hope you can pass the test. This, which I was always hoping and never really passing. Oh, no, maybe a good student. Anyway, I had been reading a lot of sort of Asian philosophy stuff, and I had been reading this text of the inner chapters of Chuang Tzu. Chuang Tzu was kind of the greatest Taoist after Lao Tzu, who wrote the Tao Te Ching. And I had been reading this, and for some reason, here I am writing notes in the class, got 15 minutes left or something, and just trying to get some idea what I'm doing here. And this thought came to me that was from the Chuang Tzu text, and it said, and forgive me for being slightly sexist, I just repeat what it said. It said, the perfect man's mind is like a mirror, reflecting everything, holding nothing. And I had been kind of thinking about this, and it didn't mean anything to me, but I had this thought. I was sitting in this class, and I had this thought, just came up. Perfect man's mind is like a mirror, reflecting everything, holding nothing. And all of a sudden, my mind was like that. And I was like, oh, this is what they mean. And I didn't want to disturb it, so I was sitting really still and just kind of like letting it be. And the class ended, and I put my stuff in my bag, just thinking like, oh my God, oh my God. And I walked out of the building, and I walked to my dorm room, and I remember specifically I put my stuff down, I had to take a pee, I went to the bathroom, we had like just, one bathroom per floor, and I was peeing, and I was still in it, probably 20 minutes. I had no idea what that was. I could not reproduce it. It went away, and then it took me years to figure out. Actually, our minds, men, women, children, are always like that. But we're so habituated to holding that it's as if we are stained with the reflection. But my mind's never been anyway except perfectly clear. It's not the greatest analogy, but it was a very impressive moment for me. It made me realize this is possible. It might take some practice, it might take some instruction, it might take some adjustment of my life, some purification or something, all of which turned out to be totally true. But once you know about it, that door is open, even if it's only open a crack. It's just kind of your birthright. If you know about it, you can exit the 3 times anytime. If you don't know about it, you're an ordinary person. And what is an ordinary person? Someone who has no choice but to just try to arrange the circumstances of their life so that they will be happy. And the thing that the Buddha discovered 2,500 years ago and taught about in his very first sermon was that is not possible. You cannot control circumstances. You can't control other people. You can barely control yourself. Is it not true? Like, if you just do what I say, world, but they don't do it. But there's a part of us, the most important part, that is beyond all this. Meditation is about discovering that, becoming familiar with that, and then living from that more and more. And as you do it, not only is it good for you, it's good for everybody. We're all kind of hovering around this right now. It's so obvious. It's so easy in a sense. Sometimes it's said to be the gap between two thoughts. It's not 100% true, because you can also have thoughts and still be in this. It's more about grasping. It's all about holding. We're just used to holding. We feel uncomfortable when we relax too much. You have to become comfortable with that a little bit. In a sense, the holding abides within our bodies. So we don't have to, but we can do these yogic exercises like those breathing to release that and to get a glimpse of what we really are without all of our wet leather clothes on. Do a few exercises. If you haven't done them before, I explain it. Just follow along. It's so simple. All of you guys, I think, have done them. It's so easy. The main thing here is, though, you have to hold your breath. So how do you hold your breath? You have your hands like this on your knees, and you breathe out. Put your hands back like this on your knees, and breathe in, not too deep, and then swallow. And bring the air down, the energy down below your belly button. And at the same time, pull up from below a little bit, like lifting up your bottom. You don't want to fart. Okay. That's called the vase breath, the pot breath. You kind of hold your pot there. Don't stick your stomach out. Some people say that's not right. Hold your stomach in. Kind of pressing in from the stomach, in the back, the sides, down a little bit, up a little bit. Not hard, just a little bit. Condensing the energy down here. And then we'll do these exercises. And those loosen up the channels, loosen up the chakras, the energy centers. And when the energy centers get loose, then the energy that's in there relaxes, and your mind relaxes too. Let's try to do the breath holding just one time. Ready? Breathe out. Breathe in. Swallow. Hold that just a little bit. And breathe out softly. Tibetan medicine, they say that Western mindset, which is everyone in the world now because we're just so busy, the energy that's supposed to abide down here starts to bubble up and go up through the center of your body and get in your head, and then it causes all kinds of thoughts and craziness. They've got special medicines for dealing with that. They do work too. But you can also deal with it just by doing this. Swallow and bring the energy down. You can feel it sink down, and it's like pulling the plug in the dirty sink, and the drain starts to suck out all that crap that you've been dealing with up there. It starts to condense down here. And as it condenses, it's kind of purified. Don't hold your breath too long. Don't hold your breath too hard. Just a little bit. Gentle. Gentle. So we're going to hold our breath, and we're going to do these exercises. The first one is for the throat and also for the top of the head. And you're just going to be forward to your head, go over to the left like this, make circles, rolling your neck 5 times one way, then 5 times the other way. And then open your eyes, extend your fingers, breathe out, and don't do anything. If you want and you can remember, you can breathe out of your throat if it feels congested. You can breathe out of the top of your head if you like. You can check it out and see. We'll do it a few times. So easy. Don't make big circles if your neck hurts. Make small circles, right? Over time, your neck will relax, and that'll be good, right? If your neck is super floppy, then feel free to make the biggest circles that you like. And I usually close my eyes because otherwise you get a little dizzy. By the end, you want to open your eyes, extend your fingers, breathe out softly, and don't do anything. See, how is it? Ready? It almost feels like flying. You kind of leave your body behind. You leave your body of disturbing emotions behind temporarily, kind of like flying. The sound for letting go is ah. The sound for flying is home. Similar to those flying fish you see, that they leap out of the water and they fly for like 4 or 5 feet and then they splash back down. Kind of like that, right? You're on one of those ferries in the islands in south of Thailand. You're on your way to Koh Samui, and you're looking over the side and you see, not so far, but that's kind of like us. For a moment, free. Understand, that's your natural state. When you head back in the water, of course your stuff comes back up and you get involved. But, like those fish, you can leap out anytime. You just have to come to this moment and let go. And for some period, it goes on. You can't say anything about it. It doesn't feel like you, right? It's completely stripped bare. Tibetans say like a hair pulled out of butter. I think it's freaking sick. All right? First of all, I don't like butter. Tibetan butter, you gotta be careful. They don't care how blue it gets, I swear. When you pull a hair out of butter, supposedly, I don't pull out of hairs out of butter, thank goodness. I don't even eat butter, I'm a vegan. Probably for this reason. When you pull it out, there's no hair, there's not chunks of hair on the butter, unless you're in Tibet, then it could be. For a moment. Kind of revolting, you know? You want to hear a story? I'll tell you a story. This comes from John Blofeld. John Blofeld, he wrote my favorite book, The Wheel of Life. I love that freaking book. You read the one about the Vajrayana, right? Way of Power, sometimes it's called. But he wrote this book about his journey as a Western Buddhist, and he spent all his time in China. He lived in China 16 years when he was in the 30s and early 40s, and he had a lot of adventures. It was a totally different world. And he went on this pilgrimage from Beijing to this mountain complex called Wu Taishan. Wu Taishan is this, Wu means five terraced mountain. And it's one of the 4 Buddhist holy mountains in China. It's a super cool place. I strongly recommend going there. I went there twice and I thought it was freaking awesome. Incredible place. It's supposed to be the earthly home of the Bodhisattva wisdom called Manjushri. Anyway, he tells about going there, and in those days they had to go on a little caravan. There were bandits, so they'd gather together with a bunch of other people and ride yaks or however they got there, right? And it was like 10 days or 12 days to get there. Can you imagine? Now it's like you can take a train. It's very easy. I took a bus. Well, no. Bus is not really the same as a yak, but hey. Anyway, on the trip, there were all these pilgrims from all over the place, some from Mongolia, and they didn't have any money. They would just travel and live on alms. There's Tibetans and Mongolians, they love this kind of stuff, at least in the old days. They still do it some now, and they get to Wu Taishan, right, and the party just disperses to wherever they're staying and stuff. And one day, Blofeld is like walking around town, and one of the people from his caravan, this old Mongolian pilgrim, he called him Old Manchuria. That was his name for him. Old Manchuria sees him and he's like, hey, I forgot to say this, but on the trip, when they would stop in these little towns, things were so cheap, Blofeld would just pay for all the pilgrims to have dinner. Like 20 people, and it would cost $1 or whatever. And this guy was like, you were so nice to me, I want to show you some hospitality. So I want you to come to the place I'm staying. So he's staying in this little monastery. And Blofeld goes there. And, Tibetans and Mongolians, they like to drink tea that has butter and salt in it. It's more like soup. If you ever have to drink it, think of it as soup and you can get it down if it's hot. If you think of it as tea, you're like me. I love tea, and this is not tea. There's tea in there, but whoa. Anyway, Blofeld says, the guy gets this little stove going, staying in this the most basic accommodations in 1930s China, right? And the guy has absolutely no money, so it's got to be super basic, right? I can't even conceive of it. Anyway, he gets this little charcoal stove going, and he heats up the water, and he puts the water, and he said he picks up this super filthy cup, And he picks it up and he's going to fill it with tea. And he says to Blofeld, I know that you Westerners are like so fond of cleanliness. I understand. And he proceeds to lick the inside of the cup clean with his tongue. And lick it clean, can you imagine? And then pours this nasty tea in there that's made with this old blue butter. And he even cuts a little piece of the butter off, which is like, he puts it on top and he's like, Blofeld's like, ah. He said on top of the tea was floating a piece of hair impregnated rancid camel butter. Oh my God, I thought it was such a beautiful description. And he said there was nothing to do because you can't drink it slowly because you might throw up, right? It's like very rough. If it's not really fresh butter, it's intense. It's intense anyway for me. I like butter. But I gotta do it. So he just pounds it, right? Which leads the Mongolian to believe that he's really thirsty. So he's like, gotcha. And he's like, he's like pounding this, getting more and more like, whoa. He made it through though. Hair out of butter. I just think it's a funny story. I don't know. Great book. The Wheel of Life. Beautiful, beautiful book. I mean, Blofeld went to Oxford and he had a beautiful vocabulary and way of writing like we don't hear now. Plus he had these incredible experiences that you can't find anywhere. I recommend it. Hair impregnated rancid camel butter. The Tibetans like it too. It's blue butter. I told you a few weeks ago they keep it under the bed. It's blue. Like, oh my God. As soon as you start to unfold it, you're like, what is that smell? Yeah, let's get out of here. Like emergency. They're eating it. I'm not kidding. I'm like, I say this with the greatest devotion because she's my teacher, one of my teachers in Tibet. He and his wife, they're amazing. Anyway, we bought some yogurt. We met somewhere, and then we bought these pots of yogurt. It's really thick. You got to be careful because it's so rich. It can really upset your stomach. But when it's fresh, it's delicious, Anyway, we bought the yogurt and went back to their house, and a couple days passed. They don't have a refrigerator, and then yogurt was still there, and they got it out, and she was kind of like, and she tasted it, and she's like, I don't think you guys can eat this. And then she proceeded to eat all of it, and it was already long gone. Like, we would never eat it. Like, you think you'd have to go to the hospital. She thought it was good. I don't know. Tibetans. I love Tibetans, and they're so earthy. Easy to love. Anyway, so we told the story, we got all distracted right now. As soon as you come to this moment, you reach the crossroads, and then you get a choice. You can continue to do your stuff, or you can let go. Don't try to keep thoughts away. Thoughts don't matter. They're over there. What's over here? Good. Pretty cool, huh? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's very reliable. It's always there. Last week, my aunt died, and I had to go to Ohio to participate in the funeral. And I love my aunt, my favorite aunt, and also my last aunt. She passed away. My mother's sister. My mother's very upset. I had to fly to Ohio. It cost $1,000 to get there. It was crazy. I go there. I did my reading at the funeral. I kept it together. It was good. I came back, had this long flight back, and then we had an obligation in the mountains. We drove up to the mountains. I was all stressed out. I didn't sleep at all. I was just all freaked out. And the next morning, I got up and I was doing my practice, and I realized that even though I was exhausted and upset and sad and worried about my mom and all that stuff was kind of somehow over here. And over here was just how it always was, totally free. It was quite a powerful realization. I was like, wow, some part of it's always free, no matter what's going on. We can't always live from it, but we can recognize it. It's nice. Let's do this rotation of the head again. When you breathe out, when you open your eyes and breathe out, just don't do anything. Just let yourself enjoy that openness. Ready? And try that. Stay right in the state of openness. And then allow a thought like what you had for lunch to arise in your mind. If you do it carefully and you relax enough, the thought can come and it doesn't disturb this. The thought is just the expression, it's just the energy of this potential. Potential is open and empty. The expression is total clarity. It appears as a vision of spaghetti or a vision of a pork sandwich, whatever you happen to have. And as long as you don't go out and hold on to it, start to grab it and judge it and talk about it, like think about it, trace the outline of it, everything's good. It's still good. So don't fear your thoughts. Some people say, thoughts, I'm not afraid of my thoughts, I'm afraid of my feelings. Actually, they won't say it because they're so afraid. But what are feelings? Feelings are just thoughts that cause something to happen in your body. And when it happens, like a tight heart or your stomach sinking, whatever, that causes more thoughts. And those go back and forth really fast, and we call that like an emotional reaction. But that's still okay. We don't have to suppress it or shoot it down or pretend it doesn't exist or purify it or get rid of it or anything. You can just let it be. Staying right over here, being the space for that. And if you do that softly enough, with enough attention, enough love, enough spaciousness, then you'll notice the traditional analogy is like a snake untying a knot in its own body. If a snake is like lying and gets all curled up in a knot, it doesn't need someone to come along and untie it. It just unties itself. Same thing. Those are your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. And they're totally okay as long as you don't mess with them. Good. Good. Very soft, very easy. Don't try to hold this state of openness or try to protect it. It doesn't need to be protected. Thoughts are kind of in meditation, we think thoughts are kind of our enemy. It's not really true, but we sort of feel like that because they're so sticky and they draw us in, cause all this trouble. But if you really look at a thought, like if I say, what was the name of your first pet you ever had? You have to go and figure it out. Benji, that was my dog. I was a little kid. Where did that thought come from? It wasn't like you have a big card catalog, one of those old card catalogs like we used to have when we were in elementary school, and you like want to look something up, you go to the K's and you pull it out and you go, not like that, right? It just appears. Can't be, the origin of it cannot be found. And when we turn our attention to something else, instead of thinking about that, we think about sailboats. We think about when the last time I was on a sailboat. Actually, when was the last time I was on a sailboat? I can't even remember, a long time ago. Then where did that thought of the name of your first pet go? Didn't go anywhere. It just ceased. This is how thoughts are. They just come out of nowhere. They abide who knows where, and then they vanish to who knows where. Cannot find them. So we don't need to worry about them too much. Just keep our mental hands off of them. Don't try to steer them too much. Whatever comes up, okay. Nothing comes up and you just have no thoughts, okay. Good. Are there any questions or comments? Online too, okay. Well, that's fine. This spontaneous arising of all sorts of stuff, it has a certain kind of wind behind it. And as a result, we sometimes have a thought and the energy of that can draw you out of this state of openness and then kind of collapse you around whatever the thought is. And then your mind is like just only about that. And if it's a good thought, you feel happy. And if it's a bad thought, you feel sad or whatever, angry, right? That energy, that can be purified through these breathing exercises and these various exercises. That energy becomes more soft. So it doesn't push you quite as hard. It doesn't mean you won't occasionally fall out and things can be super intense, right? Thoughts, emotions, situations can be super intense. When that happens, we just try to, again, remember as soon as we can, oh yeah, there's part of me that's free, that's the space for this, whatever you phrase it to yourself. And return to that openness. Doesn't mean you don't have feelings. Feelings are for feeling. They're not for suppressing. They're not for analyzing. It's not something to meditate on. It's just something to be open to, just more spacious. In the teachings it says, the mind of an ordinary sentient being is like a pinprick through a leather bag, tiny little hole. The mind of an enlightened being is like the sky. So expand your mind. Dan's got a shirt on. It says, practice magic, read. That's cool. I love reading. This is another kind of magic, right? It's a kind of a magic where, by making this distinction between what we have, a body, feelings, emotions, memories, plans, thoughts, ideas, and what we are, so to speak, which is spacious awareness, then we practice a kind of magic of being free, of letting be, of being open. It's a little scary, a little intense. Sometimes it doesn't feel even possible. Give yourself a break. Be easy. It's hard. It's hard to get enlightened. But this is the way. Are you guys familiar with that? It's an old video. It's from the 70s, I think, but it's on YouTube. You can see on YouTube it's called The Power of 10. You know this? That's pretty freaking cool. You guys look this up. I think it's called The Power of 10. And it shows these people in this park. They're like, I don't know, right down here, and you're sort of above them. And then it shows how it would be if you were 10 times further, and then 10 times further again, and it expands out to be the whole size of the universe. And then it goes the other way, and you go down, down, down 10 times, 10 power at a time, until you're like at the subatomic level. It's pretty cool. In this kind of style of meditation, we want to do this, expanding by powers of 10. Vast, open. It's kind of, these are just analogies, right? But just to get a feel for it, it's like the difference between an ant's eye view of a situation and a bird's eye view. From a bird's eye view, you're not as controlled. Ant's eye view, really narrow, tiny little view, like a pinprick through a leather bag. If you're like a bird, much more space. Enough space for all of your emotions, all of your plans, all of your memories to come up and be totally okay. Right? They don't need to be suppressed. So you feel like you have more energy because you don't have to spend all this time not thinking about whatever it is. Just let it come and let it go. Space. Openness. Do another exercise. Is that okay? This one's for the heart. You guys know this one. Breathe out, breathe in, swallow, hold your breath. Take your right arm, goes around your head, 5 of these guys. Then 5 of these guys with your left arm. Then rotate this spot in this plane, like you've got a crayon coming out of your heart and you're drawing circles on a piece of paper in front of you. It looks like this. 5 of these guys, 5 of these guys, and then breathe out. When you breathe out of your heart. All our heavy-heartedness goes out into space and just dissolves. So 5, 5, 5, and 5. Breathe out. If you run out of breath and you have to breathe out before, it's okay. Ready? Let's try it again. There's a certain aspect of balance here. Just like when you balance a stick on your hand, you don't just put it there and then just hold your hand totally still and it falls over. You have to adjust, right? You have to catch it. You got to feel it. Same here. And right when you breathe out, there isn't anything. You're gone. There's only spaciousness. But then that part, that phase goes away and thoughts start to come, and then you have to balance. You're not pushing the thoughts away, but you're also not holding them or like choosing them or getting the feel for them. Just staying there. Kind of like balancing. We took a yoga class today, and there was a lot of balance stuff. There was one-legged mountain, there was standing splits, which I'm terrible at, many different things. And I'm not super good at balancing stuff, apparently. But the more you practice, the better you get at it, right? Right? Same here. Totally open, but it's not just like one thing. You're totally open, but you're paying attention. Here comes a thought, and you're okay. You're not like grabbing it, nor are you pushing it away. You're just giving it space. It's cool. And if you can do that, then it's like a snake that unties its own knot. If not, then you get involved in it. Your mind shrinks down to just be like that little thing. If it's looking at something happy, you feel happy temporarily. If it's looking at something bad, you feel bad. The problem is that even if you're looking at something happy, inherent in it, you know it's not going to last. So you have this anxiety. This sucks. Samsara sucks. Sorry. That's what the Buddha probably would say now. When he gave the teaching, he said, Sarvam dukkam dukkam. Everything is suffering, suffering. Now I would say, like, samsara sucks. Samsara does suck. But it can suck a lot less if we keep our mental hands off of it to some degree. This is just the beginning, but we got to get familiar with this. It makes things so much easier, so much lighter. You feel light in your body, you feel light in your speech, you feel light in your mind. Keep our mental hands off the situation to some degree. Another great thing, Chinese Zen master, this person came to him and said, is it hard to get enlightened? He said, no, getting enlightened is extremely easy, only don't have preferences. Very difficult, right? Extremely easy, don't have preferences. What is it to prefer? It's to allow your mind to go out, choose one thing while getting rid of another. That's the problem, right? Stay back here. Open. Not pushing the world away. Not grabbing onto the parts you like. Balance in between. You could say the middle way if we wanted to talk Buddhism language. Staying spacious, staying open. Becoming familiar with that freedom. And you'll find that inside of that, you can do all the things you like to do. You can respond to situations, you can play golf, you can go skiing, You can get some work done. Some kinds of work, it's harder. If you really have to use your noggin, this can be harder. But as soon as you don't have to use it, again, oh yeah, right? You can drive. Spacious. Seems like it's time. But we can do it all within the space of openness. You guys all know do you know the dedication? I thought you did. So. If you don't know the dedication of merit, so there are three phases, right? The right orientation, the main part, which is letting be, and then dedication of merit. If you don't know it, you just think, may whatever goodness has been created here, may everybody share in it. May everybody have this spacious mind. Imagine a world where this was how it was, where people were doing something in order that all beings could be happy. Can you imagine? Hard to even imagine, right? But it's got to start somewhere. Might as well start with us, right? So we're going to let be, let open be, free, and then we'll say this prayer that we keep putting in there. Thank you. By this merit may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemy wrongdoing, from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, from the ocean of samsara may I free all beings. Thank you. Thank you for being here online. Thank you for being here in person. We're self-supporting, and we need to also support this beautiful studio. So if you have an extra $1 or whatever, the Venmo is in there. If you don't, maybe next time. In the meantime, practice. Practice being open, being free, not being so choosy about what's coming up. Gets easier. Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Good to see you guys too. Thank you. PayPal. Oh yeah, PayPal is. Will you put it in there? Ricky will put it. Thank you. Yeah. Good to see all of you. Keep it up, ninjas. Dzogchen ninjas, I love you. And there's a whole bunch of these recordings, plus some podcasts. A new one came out today. So you can watch our stuff if you're interested, and you can share with others, and you can love it too much. It's important to try to love it too much. There's too many reasons to hate it too much. Be well. Keep up moving. And Mahamudra, and just remember Mahamudra, Dzogchen, they're the same. Essence Mahamudra, Trekcho, the same. So, Jigden Sumgun, he knew that. Take care. Be well. Love you guys.
Well, so far, Joe.